Welcome to Airborne Unlimited from Whitman Regional Airport at Oshkosh, Wisconsin. I'm your host, Holland Lee. Coming up on the program today, ANN test flies the Carbon Cub UL. 2025 is ready to bring two incredible events. Take a peek of Wednesday's stunning night air show. These stories and more coming up on this AirVenture 2024 special edition of Airborne Unlimited. First up, ANN test flies the Carbon Cub UL. One of the highlights of ANN CEO and test pilot Jim Campbell's 51st Oshkosh was the chance to fly the latest bird from CubCrafters, powered by a Rotax 916 and built to be tough and light. Even through some off-airport landings on a recently plowed field, the Carbon Cub UL stood up in a great way. This may be their best effort yet.
Back about 2017, we conceptualized an airplane that was designed for international markets. And we looked around and we thought, okay, what engine do we want to use? What power plant? How do we want to define this airplane? And what existing technology do we already have that we can leverage? So we started with the Carbon Cub SS, which was historically our most popular airplane. And we said, how can we reinvest into that airframe, into the Carbon Cub SS, and get even better performance, get even lighter weight, get even simpler systems, integrate the most modern composite technology, titanium, structures, those sorts of things. This one doesn't, but we've actually got a titanium tailwheel spring that we're putting on some of the airplanes now.
Okay.
So we're just going through the entire airplane and reimagining everything and saying, hey, where can we save some weight, whether it's a few ounces, whether it's a few pounds. And what it's resulting in is an airplane that the basic empty weight, we can build the airplane as light as about 860 pounds. Firewall forward, we were launch partners with Rotax on the 916 IS. We first announced that at Sun and Fun 2 years ago.
We helped to introduce.
You helped us introduce that.
It was a good time.
And that has turned out to be a fantastic power plant for us.
Everybody's gaga over it. We're seeing it everywhere now.
It has exceeded all expectations. It's become my favorite of our tail dragger airplanes to fly. And we are just pushing forward with doing what CubCrafters does best, make really fun airplanes that are super capable in the backcountry. Normal Carbon Cub, we've got trim on top of the stick, electric trim.
Gotcha.
Set for landing, set for takeoff, and it is set for takeoff right now.
Okay.
Push to talks here on the switch. This bottom switch is autopilot disconnect.
Gotcha.
Avionics are up here. It'll just be on 122.9 for the entire flight.
You've got your access points designed well and good handhold, so yay for that. The other thing that I really enjoyed was the fact that, inch your butt up a little bit and you've got a clear view over the nose, which in an airplane like this is not the norm. So you don't have to do nearly as much S-turning, although it's always a good idea. That makes the taxi chores not only a whole lot easier, but safer, let's face it. What was a lot of fun, notch of flaps, blasting off of a grass runway. God, what was it? 400 or 500 feet, if that, because I was being a little slow.
It was far less than that.
Okay.
It was under 200 feet, and that's the only time I've ever heard you give expletives in the cockpit. You were having so much.
Well, basically, firewall forward, ease the stick forward, and about the time the stick's all the way forward, it's time to start bringing the stick back because you got flying speed. I mean, it worked out really well in that regard. The fun part is with full power and on the positive end of the energy profile, you've got a hell of a climb angle out. Slow speed, really obedient. Not a lot of dissymmetry until you get well into the brake, and then there's a little bit of a fall off, and all you got to do is ease pressure. You don't have to stick forward. You have to ease pressure, and you're immediately into recovery mode. High frequency, low amplitude buffet throughout. Each notch of flaps trims the airplane up a little bit, about a pound and a half of stick pressure each. The drag profile with that last notch is huge. Found the actual stall to be a non-event, and again, recovery is simply less than stick pressure. Slip is obedient. I'm a little bit more bashful with it till I get to know the airplane, but I had no problem seeing 1,000 to 1,500 feet, and got a little bit more aggressive once I got a little bit more into the airplane, a few minutes later, but that worked out really well. Stability and control is outstanding. And on top of it, boy, you've got some rudder on that, so you can get it way out of whack, and it just comes right on back. And the nice part about that, it was really obedient, not violent, but sure was swift. Now, one thing that was fun, Brad demonstrated his canyon turn. And Brad, I want you to describe this thing, because we were pulling some stuff on that. That was fun.
Yeah, so canyon turn, that's something that they teach at mountain canyon flying schools, and it's really just a minimum radius turn on the airplane. And you've normally, when you're straight and level flight, all your lift is in the vertical vector. And so to do a canyon turn, you pitch the airplane up to about a 60-degree bank angle. You give the airplane full power. You pull back on the elevator, and you also put in a little bit of flaps with the notch. And because now some of your lift is in a horizontal vector, putting more horizontal lift on the airplane accelerates the turn, and with a little bit of practice, and you can turn the airplane 180 degrees in about 2 wingspans.
I'll tell you what, the airplane speaks to you. It really does. We did some off-field takeoffs and landings. The gear on this will just take all kinds of crap. It's really nicely done. But the best part is even though we had a pretty good drop, it diminished the impact, and there wasn't a whole lot of bounce left to it. It really took on a lot of the vertical force involved. Taking off out of there, same procedure. Pull flap, full power, get the nose forward, yank back, and off you go. And there, I think we were off in a much shorter distance in the old field than my first takeoff. So it worked out really well. It's sweet. It's light. It's surprisingly fast. It's going to be economical as all get out, especially since, well, auto gas. And you got to love that at various times. And on top of it all, the quality of workmanship that we've seen in CubCrafters has just been outstanding.
Sun and Fun 2025 is coming. Even with Oshkosh in full swing, we can't wait for the 51st rendition of the Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo, where once again ANN will serve as their media partner. Big upgrades, numerous new features, and some really inspired planning should make this event the best yet. And we'll be there to show you everything.
My name is Gene Conrad. I'm the president and CEO of the Aerospace Center for Excellence and the Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo, and this is actually my 3rd year being here to give a presentation on all things Sun and Fun and also the Aerospace Center for Excellence. The theme for this year is Turn Up the Fun at 51, and we are going to turn up the fun as the Blue Angels will headline the show in 2025. We are bringing back our opening night concert on Tuesday, and our world-class night shows on Wednesday and Saturday will be back bigger and better than ever. You can also expect the return of our Future in Flight Plaza, the Island, and our new area co-located with Paradise City, the Sandbar. As always, as things are confirmed for the 51st Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo to be held April 1st through 6th, 2025. You know, I think it's important to say, and I don't think we can say this enough, you know, everything that we do during the Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo, our net proceeds, so once all the expenses are paid and everything, our net proceeds go back into the Aerospace Center for Excellence, back into our youth and all of our educational programming. Now we are in serious conversation with Polk County Public Schools where we, the Aerospace Center for Excellence, will build another 58,000 square foot high school on the Gilbert Field. These are important moves for us to really take our facilities up, you know, to the next level.
Affordable Flying Expo offers excellent winter fly-in alternative. Those who missed the old Sebring and DeLand Fly-Ins now have something to look forward to. Using the best sport aviation facility in the South, the January 9th through 11th event will be held on the best parts of the Sun and Fun campus and with a solid, simple plan that emphasizes flying, fun, education, plenty of exhibitor access, and a well-organized facility plan.
So Jim, tell me a little bit about this Affordable Flying Expo coming up in January, is it?
Yeah, we've been watching what's been happening with the sport aviation arena, and after watching what were very good fly-ins in Sebring and DeLand fail due to a different kind of lack of support, usually by the city or the airport or some management issues or what have you, it's obvious from the people who went that there was a serious demand. At the same time, the facility really has to be tailor-made to sport aviation, and when it comes to that, especially since we're talking the southern United States, nothing fits better than the Sun and Fun campus. The Affordable Flying Expo is going to be a little bit different because we're emphasizing one thing, affordable flying. And through that kind of emphasis, what we're trying to do is have a very simple, very laid back, very friendly event where through the primary exhibit buildings, there'll be 50, 60 booths per, plus areas for workshops and town halls and meetings. And all the displays will be indoor, so whether it rain or shine, they've got a good place to talk to people and give them a chance to do some one-on-one. Lining up just in front of the hangars will be the aircraft tie-downs and a place for people to see aircraft. And then, just as important, demo rides. We're really looking forward to the workshop portion. We're talking to John and Martha King about intros to sport piloting. We're talking to folks like Zenith and the Viking folks about building and installs and all the things that are necessary for people to understand what's happening with their aircraft as they choose them, buy them, fly them, operate them.
So what are the dates again, and where can people find more information out?
Well, January 9th to the 11th, and then affordableflyer.com has initial info, and we will have a full sheet up in September with all the data. We're studying everything very carefully to keep pricing down for exhibitors and facilities as accessible as possible.
After these messages, take a look at one of the more unique vehicles at AirVenture.
I'm currently using the Hartzell Talon, by far the best aerobatic propeller ever come out.
I use the Trailblazer. It adds performance to the Super Decathlon and dependability, and it's rugged.
Hartzell's been an excellent partner for Whip Air, just in terms of your product support as well as keeping an eye on the market and developing new products that meet demand.
It's helping us all have better performing airplanes.
It's such a proud honor to fly behind that propeller.
Meet the first of a new generation of the M-Class family. The M700 Fury. An aircraft worthy of the name, an indomitable force. The M700 Fury transcends traditional limits with more power, blistering performance, a finely appointed interior, and the luxury of what matters most. Time. Experience the Fury. Join the legacy.
Welcome back. If you've seen something especially cool around the AirVenture grounds this week, be sure to use hashtag Osh24Cool. We would love to check it out. Now let's take a look at one of the more unique Oshkosh vehicles. Too many airplanes to count, too many rotorcraft too, among many other types of aircraft. But an Ornithopter? Let's take a look at one of Oshkosh's most intriguing, if not unique, aircraft.
So this is called the Ornithopter, powered by a 1927 Stover hit-and-miss engine. It was built literally decades ago by two brothers, Steve and Jim Hay. Started out as kind of a car. They started coming here and they turned it into what it is now with the flapping wings.
Speedster from Timber Tiger is nearly ready for its first flight, and it's at Oshkosh. The Timber Tiger folks are masters at the art of classic-looking sport planes. Their Jenny and their Ryan STL are simply works of aeronautical art. But now they're introducing a side-by-side two-seater with a strictly classic look for their next effort. Let's check it out.
Let's face it, you guys are all about the classics because you've done the classic Jenny and you've done the Ryan ST or STL in your case. Two stunning airplanes who are just icons of their period, and yet here we go, we're not quite scale. We're off scale, off classic, but classic look. And it's pretty.
Thank you. Yeah, that was the big thing. We started getting into this thinking, man, let's make it pure classic. And then we started, well, we want a modern prop. We want some carbon fiber accents. We want a new tail wheel, modern tail wheel. And so whatever people see in this airplane is what it is. We get mystery ship, we get GB. And that's what's nice about it is the builder isn't confined to a box. It's not a replica. But yeah, it's a steel tube fuselage, all aluminum wings. We're getting ready to go. As long as we get the test data we expect and want by the time we expect it to get that, we hope to be manufacturing by October or November of this year.
So how's it powered?
So it's powered by a Werner 9S, Werner Scarlet 9S. They say it's 158 horsepower, but I'm going to tell you now, it pulls a lot harder. I've been telling people it's like getting out of your Honda Civic and hopping into your muscle car, and you turn it on and that vibration and that shot of adrenaline starts, and it's a cool engine. As you know from our past offerings, we're not really selling airplanes, we're selling experiences, emotions, feelings, and that's why we do the vintage stuff. We really want to appeal to people who want to remember their last flight.
The Electric Aircraft Symposium was, well, electrifying. Originally established in 2007 by the Comparative Aircraft Flight Efficiency Foundation, or CAFE, the Vertical Flight Society's Electric Aircraft Symposium, now in its 18th year, is the world's longest-running annual conference on electric aviation anywhere in the world. This annual event is considered by many to be the premier must-attend global electric VTOL, STOL, CTOL, and advanced air mobility event. Held immediately prior to EAA's AirVenture on the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh campus, the symposium provides attendees the unique opportunity to meet and network with some of the world leaders and manufacturers in the electric and AAM industry. This year's symposium saw nearly 40 of the world's leading electric aviation developers and technology experts lecturing on advanced air mobility topics to include charging systems, battery technology, electric motors, hydrogen fuels, and aircraft design. Participants at this year's event range from individuals from throughout the U.S. to as far away as Germany, Japan, Australia, and New Zealand, to name a few. For more information about this event and the Vertical Flight Society, go to vtol.org. Nothing beats a night air show at Oshkosh. Among the many accolades that are deserved when describing facets of the jewel that is Oshkosh, the night air show is among the most celebrated. Expertly done with more bright and shiny stuff than you've ever seen in the night sky, the Oshkosh Night Air Show blew us all away with a stunning drone show, extraordinary fireworks, and some of the best flying you'll see anywhere. After these messages, let's get some final thoughts from Jack Pelton.
Skytron Avionics and Evolution offer two display options that are both highly customizable for your unique requirements. The 10.4-inch display is ideal for single or dual screen applications, while the 18-inch unpanel provides a larger, all-in-one screen, perfect for pilots looking for a simple VFR-only solution. The DAS100 is a revolutionary digital audio system specifically designed to simplify installation and enhance the audio experience with crystal clear audio clarity. Find out more at SkytronAvionics.com.
Welcome back. And now for some final thoughts in our interview with Jack Pelton. The best way to finish a long interview with Jack Pelton is to look ahead at his future with EAA and the future of the organization itself.
So, you happy with the gig?
I am. My team hears this a lot, and it's the, well, he's never satisfied, and that is not a negative. It's he always has got more things he wants to do, and it's like, wonder what is next. What's next? You know, we did the Youth Education Center for, you know, nothing had been done here since the 80s, and it was a big investment, big involvement, and it has been a home run. I mean, we are so active with far more kids. We had over 6,000 kids on hands-on training this last year in the facility. Our Proficiency Center had over 3,000 people in it. It's being used for all the right purposes, so it was a good investment. And so now it's what's next. We need to modernize the museum. We've got to get out of kind of the it's worked, but there's not a reason to come back every month. If you go to one of our docent tours, they have been schooled, and there's books published of every artifact and the history and the story and the interesting pieces behind it that they can tell you, but you don't get that story just walking up and looking at it and reading what's on it. I want to have that be that I can carry that around on an earplug on my iPhone, hear the stories, see that we've got timeless voices that we can pop up, and we've actually demonstrated it with AI. We're going to add on to the museum because we have so many artifacts that are in I'm talking full-size planes that are in storage.
What's happening with young eagles these days?
It's actually had a resurgence this last year and I don't even like bringing up the word COVID, but post-COVID, you know, everything stopped, and we're back to flying 60+ thousand kids, which is our 2016 levels. What was exciting for us in the last 12 months is the numbers are coming back up, but we took on 1,200 new Young Eagle pilots. Sean just is wrapping up his 10th year as the Young Eagles chairman, and he's going to hand the baton off to Jimmy Graham.
If you had to guess, we were talking at breakfast this morning about Paul and Tom and Rod and some of the other folks, plus all the other folks that we've known throughout the years. And if you could guess, what do you think they think of what's happening right now?
Paul, I think the conversations would be very similar to that I had with him when he was still here, which is, it's too big. His critique of too big was his ability to know every person personally, which he always did.
Oh yeah.
It had outgrown that, and that was bothersome and troubling to him. I think that he would be pleased that with Mosaic, it still is we're creating new pathways, which home building did, which he was such a big part of. And I think he would be encouraged that things are going in the right direction to keep people involved in general aviation. Tom would be looking at it purely from an AirVenture standpoint. And I think he would be sitting next to me saying, what are you doing about even growing the facilities and the hangars, and because he always wanted to do more in that area, and be pushing me to what's your plan? What are you going to do? How are you going to get all the aviation companies to participate at higher levels? He and I would be debating that's hard to do, to get them to spend more money on anything. So that part of general aviation isn't really growing. I mean, as far as new entrants and new big companies selling large quantities of airplanes. Probably the discussion the two of them and I would love to have is the innovation and modernization and new entrants, UASs, UAVs, whatever acronym we're using today, the air taxis, the electric stuff. Whiz-bangs. How is that going to integrate? There'll be a needed place on the field for the whiz-bang stuff.
Yeah.
And especially to have it be demonstrated in front of this crowd. I kept saying last year I thought we'd see more of it. I thought we'd see more of it this year. It's going to happen here shortly, but when it does, it's going to go like a light switch they'll be all over demonstrating out here. It certainly has a technology path that's achievable to do that, so that's really encouraging.
And that wraps up our amazing week here at AirVenture 2024. Be sure to check out our website, aero-news.net, for more news and stories. We'll see you back here next year.